the fourth time in 100 years, we're once again facing the incommunicable experiences of war. Man, we really can't ever get along now, can we?
In 1939, Confederate President Jake Featherston had been elected again for a second term, the only Confederate president to get another 6 years in office. However, this was largely for show and only possible due to the way under his previous term he consolidated power and changed the Constitution, which effectively made him president for life. With the conflict brewing in Europe, many knew it was inevitable that fighting would begin again between the Confederacy and their eternal rival, the United States of America.
My great-grandfather fought the Yankees. My grandfather fought the damn Yankees. My father fought the goddamn Yankees. It's my turn now, and I don't know what Yankee I'll be fighting myself. Terry Beauregard.
By the summer of 1941, he was ready for war against the United States and brought the Second Great War and the Fourth War between the states to the American continent.
Okay, that's enough Ken Burns for one day. By the way, his entire Civil War documentary series is on Netflix, and you should watch it because it's one of the best documentaries ever. But seriously though, imagine living in this timeline. You might see a documentary exactly like this. Amazing to imagine the possibilities of alternate history, which is why Alternate History Hub and I are making our videos over the Harry Turtledove Southern Victory series. Again, this is not spoilers for the main characters and their developments, but the general lore of the alternate history itself. The changes in the map, the different wars, the influence they'd have on future alternate generations. So as the beginning of this video pointed out, as well as at the end of part 3, World War II, the Second Great War, has started. Europe is fighting again, and the Confederacy brings the war to the Americas through their invasion of Ohio, codenamed Operation Blackbeard. Get it? Because Barbarossa's a pirate, and so is Blackbeard? Anywho, now they're driving their way through Ohio to cut America off. Their hope is by cutting off supplies from the two halves of the country, as well as their mighty display of military might, they would shock the United States and cause it to collapse or surrender or something. But, surprise, surprise, the U.S. doesn't give up, so what now? Well, General Patton, who's leading Confederate forces, decides to focus on the city of Pittsburgh. It's a good checkpoint on the map and an industrial center. So they try to besiege the city, but the U.S. Army manages to prevent that, so it becomes a bitterly fought battle, street by street. Some of you may be asking, does this make Pittsburgh Stalingrad? Yes. Yes, it does. There are several parallels to our timeline's World War II. Like, who's Patton's rival general? Irving Morrell. Don't see it yet? Let me switch some letters around a bit, and change a few of them. Old man Rommel, and I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you pesky historians. Okay, so there are several things like that, and while some might find it unoriginal, I actually enjoy it. I see them as wonderful Easter eggs inside the series. Besides, some things still go differently. It's not like the other side isn't still the Allies, it's old-fashioned World War I imperialism, just with better weapons. Wait a minute. None of this involves Japan, does it? What's Japan doing? Well, in case you didn't know, since the U.S. never took the Philippines, Japan did. Also, they somehow acquired French Indochina and the Dutch East Indies in the 1920s. The book didn't explain it that well. It kind of implied intimidation and compensation, but, it's not a main part of the story, so it doesn't matter. But the whole point is, they're bigger. So despite this, the United States, and presumably Germany, in the Pacific could cause problems for their expansion. So like in World War I, Japan is still on the side of the Allies. They're having naval battles with the U.S. near Hawaii and actually capture Midway Island. Then they lose it, and they never really take Hawaii. That's about it for a while, but we'll get back to them later. What about Europe? Well, the British took over Ireland, Russia invaded Ukraine, which is a German puppet state essentially, and a massive Allied offensive invades the Low Countries in the Rhineland. Belgium is liberated from being a puppet state, and the Netherlands are actually a central power, so they get overrun too. Germany manages to hold them off at the Rhine River and outside of Hamburg. Then it's a stalemate again. Britain at one point tries to do a stupid thing and take resources from Norway so Germany doesn't get them, but that only causes Norway to join the Central Powers. Oops. Anything else important happen? Oh yeah, the British and Confederates drove the U.S. out of the Bahamas and Bermuda, and Utah rebels again, and Yeah, there's another thing too. Remember how Featherston was angry at the African Americans who rebelled during the Great War? Well, being a Nazi and all, he began sending them to death camps. An important part of this book series involves several black partisan groups trying to resist being captured and taken to the camps, as well as the Confederacy trying hard to make sure that no American army manages to find a camp. The British find out and they're a bit disturbed, but they need the CSA to keep the USA distracted, so they just awkwardly shut up and pretend not to notice. It's a very dark and sad thing, but it's possible, as the same thing happened in our timeline's World War II. Hitler at several times pressured his allies to hand over their Jewish populations, and sadly, they mostly shut up and complied. The idea of a Holocaust happening in America is startling, but we have to remember that if it can happen in one continent, it could happen in another. So, what's the turning point of the war? Well, the Confederates failed to take Pittsburgh, and some forces inside a Pittsburgh pocket surrender in 1943. The U.S. also begins to advance in various places along the border. How does the Confederacy keep supplying troops? Well, their ally, the Mexican Empire, is intimidated into sending reinforcements to help with that. Despite this, the U.S. manages to drive the Confederates back across the border and begin an offensive into Kentucky and Tennessee. They tried to invade Virginia to take Richmond, but that failed. Morrell decided to try the same strategy Featherston had, cut them in half, and maybe this time it'd work. By 1943, Utah's rebellion had failed, and there were more advances in Texas. The U.S. also decided to invade Mexican-held Baja California. Since it was cut off, it'd be easy pickings, and that was taken really quickly. Then also in 1943, the ultimate anime betrayal happened. With the war against the U.S. being a stalemate, which meant the U.S. wasn't going to be a threat to Japanese interests anymore, Japan ultimately decides to switch sides and attack British colonies in the area, taking British Malaysia and preparing for a possible invasion of Burma and India. The U.S. was fine with this, as they wanted to focus their full might on the South. Say, doesn't World War II involve nukes? Yes, it does, except in this timeline they're called super bombs, and actually that's kind of a cooler name. Naturally, everyone is scrambling to get them as quickly as possible. The real question is, who gets them first? Well, with Germany never going Nazi, they kept a lot of notable Jewish scientists, like Albert Einstein. So they had quite the head start. They got their nukes first, and in 1944,